Well, on that topic, why don't we start there, the beginning of the week, Monday Night Raw. That segment specifically, they opened the show. You mentioned Punk and Drew, but there was a third party in there. A man who decided the way to get over was to wear women's clothing. I don't know what to say anymore about Seth Rollins, but...
He looks like if Miss Marple was a referee, with the bun in his hair and the blousey. Yes, what were you going to say?
It's like he listened to a bunch of Harry Styles records and had access to my grandmother's closet. I don't know what the he's doing out there.
But yours was better than mine, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm a revolutionary.
And I don't even know who Harry Styles is.
I'm a revolutionary. I'm a visionary. What was the revolution? You went into your wife's closet and put on her shirt? Like, what the fuck?
No, it was the French Revolution.
Is that what it was?
That's what, now we know what revolution he served in. He was the lieutenant of puffy shirts.
Kramer's girlfriend was onto something. She was just ahead of her time. The puffy shirt look. You needed a star to debut it on TV. Jerry Seinfeld kind of killed it. Now you got Franklin Rollins.
But now they've added stripes. I think that's the whole difference.
That's the whole difference. But anyway, it was his promo. And then he basically just said he's there to have the other guys talk, but I'll let you explain this.
Well, he was there to have the other guys talk, and then he talked a fucking lot. But the thing, this was the first, 25 minutes of the show, and to be honest, if everybody, I wouldn't mind 3 hours of nothing but talking if everybody was as good as, well, I'll say Punk and Drew and Seth in some instances when he's motivated and a little bit more serious. This time, I think he was really trying to work on something here, but anyway, he came out, did Seth Franklin Rollins, in his referee shirt with the puffy sleeves and the zebra boots and a blah, blah, blah. And again, the hair and the bun. And, he would make a wonderful fucking pie brand, like old Grandma Proctor's baked apple pies, if the picture was of him instead of old Grandma Proctor.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever had a Grandma Proctor pie?
I haven't. The bearded weirdo, you think is the brand they should go with?
Well, now that you mention it, well, no, weirdo's already taken by the Republican Party these days. But nevertheless, so he calls for these two morons to come out. And suddenly you hear the strains of Like Mussolini. They came to see Punk walk around the ring on TV.
Oh. Yeah, strain was the right word.
Well, that's the strains of the music. That's an inside music industry term. You wouldn't.
Oh, no, of course not. Excuse me, Gershwin.
No, well, I'll just stick with me, kid, and I'll make sure you got you're all up with all the hep lingo. Anyway, he goes around the ring, he shakes his hands, he shakes the fans' hands, but he takes his time and he gets the response and blah, blah, blah. And also they got 3 hours. What the fuck? This is going to be the best thing on it. And then when Drew comes out, he's got heat. And it's what we were talking about on the last show. We did the last review of this thing. Each one of these guys has perfect reasons within the program not to like each other. Babyface or heel, it doesn't matter because a couple of them have been both, and so it's all worked out that way, but they all got history. And it's a perfect three-way type of thing for something like this where everybody's on a comparable level, everybody can talk and hold their end up, and everybody's got a legitimate issue. So if this was, can you imagine if we didn't ever see three ways? And then they started this and had a three-way. Unfortunately, they've been prostituted, but they don't mean as much as they used to anymore. But still, when you get something like this, you don't go with it. Anyway, and the rule is that Punk and Drew can't touch each other or him, or the SummerSlam match is off, so Punk bails out to the announce desk. So he's not scared of them. He's worried about what he's going to do. And Seth's fucking standpoint is that he's going to be in charge. He doesn't have to be the referee. He can walk out too, but he wants to see him fight. And then Drew gets again into his whole thing where he's so smarmy and snarky and said he's trying to turn Seth on Punk. He's the real enemy. And, Seth's response is, well, you're an idiot, but we both hate Punk, but I hate you as much as Punk does. So blah, blah, blah. There's only one rule in the match. Seth says, you two guys are going to listen to everything I say. I'm the boss. And he gets very flippant. And then I thought that's when he was, if he really hates Drew that bad and Punk that bad, could he be a little more not over the top Jack Nicholson, Seth Rollins? What do you think?
I thought that tone that he set from the beginning was that over the top Rollins that he had kind of, for a little bit, for some of the serious stuff that he's been involved with Cody and various things, he takes it down a notch and it works a little better.
Yeah.
But here he's as flamboyant as he's ever been.
Flamboyant, you think of Liberace. Do you really think Seth?
I think of him when he first gets in the ring and he gets on the mic and he says, "I'm a revolution."
Well, no, that's not flamboyance. That's more like fucking loss of oxygen to the brain, isn't it?
Flatulence, maybe. I don't
Flatulence. Know. And then Punk, he's not really happy about Seth being the referee because he said to him, you being a referee to me is a hat on a hat. And now, I like the way that this young man turns a phrase. We got to remember that one.
I agree with him. I said it last week. We don't need this referee.
But he tells Seth, one thing I don't want is I don't want any help from you under any circumstances. And then Drew tells Punk, well, you better worry about me, and compares Punk to Charles Manson. Again, Drew is tremendous. Where has this guy been all our lives? Under Vince McMahon's creative umbrella, I guess.
And also doing things with people he didn't have a legitimate history with. I think this is more than just Vince isn't there holding him back or making him do wacky things and taking his sword out of the stone or whatever the fuck was happening there with that. I think this is also that there's a real history between these two. And because of that, it brings out more real feeling.
Well, they went back and forth some more, and Punk said that Drew continuously dumbs himself out of position. And he fired up at him, and I've got hard. I got the people chanting my name. What do you got? And then Drew holds up Punk's bracelet. And they go nose to nose, and they're trash talking each other, but you can't hear it. It's not on mic at least. And then they play the music and out they go because they can't fight each other, or elsewise the match would be off, and that would just be not good. But they go from this again, 25 minutes with 3 main event guys. Everybody's listening to everything. Everybody's reacting to everything that they're supposed to react to. And then they go from that to the Judgment Day clubhouse where Liv Morgan has vandalized their video games. And as well, it's a good time for me to go to another doctor's office. And that's where I turned Raw off. But
Liv must have been on the weed.
Well, she must have been on something. One way or another, she's grumpy. I'll tell you that. But they're up here, and then they go, and then it becomes Saved by the Bell again. But would you say Punk and Drew is the real SummerSlam main event? Because all due respect to Cody and Solo, I think people are looking forward to that to see if Roman's coming back, whereas people...
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
...are looking forward to Punk and Drew because Punk and Drew are in it and Seth is the referee.
I think Punk and Drew is the match people most want to see. I think the drama and story of the bloodline developing is the incident or story they want to see the most.
Yes. And they're going to have to watch Cody wrestle Solo to get there. But maybe he'll wrestle so high instead of so low.
Oh, boy.
So high, you can't get over. So low, you can't get. So wide, you can't get around. One nation under a groove.
All
Get
right. Well,
down just for the funk of it.
again, I don't know if you've got that groove, and I don't know if One Nation would be under your groove, but that was Raw, ladies and gentlemen.